In 2009, 18.5% of children aged 5 to 17 years experienced some form of violence at school, but in 2019, this percentage reduced by almost half to 8.2%. These figures are according to a recently released report by Statistics South Africa, which focuses on children in South Africa that experienced maltreatment at school or at home. More females than males suffered from maltreatment at school, as 8.5% of females and 7.9% of males suffered in 2019. Corporal punishment by teachers was the leading type of violence and was experienced by 84% of all children aged 5 to 17 who suffered from maltreatment. The second type of violence mostly experienced by children was verbal abuse by teachers, as 14% of children suffered from this maltreatment. Verbal abuse by teachers was mostly experienced by males. The third type of violence experienced by most children was physical abuse by teachers, as close to 11% of children were hurt from this maltreatment. Physical abuse by teachers was mostly experienced by females. Children also suffered from physical and verbal abuse by their peers, while more females experienced verbal abuse by other learners. It was males who experienced the most physical abuse by their peers. Corporal punishment at school was more prevalent in KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape in 2019. While children in the Northwest also suffered from this practice, the occurrence was moderate. Corporal punishment was also practiced mostly on pre-teenagers aged 8 to 11 years in 2019. Within the decade from 2009 to 2019, there was a shift in the age groups of victims, as more teenagers were suffering from the practice in previous years. Households with children generally believed that it was acceptable for teachers to physically punish children for various faults. Close to 4 in 10 households admitted that it was acceptable for children to be physically punished if they were caught drinking alcohol, or smoking at school, or carried weapons at school. Close to 36% of households also believed it was acceptable for teachers to physically punish their children for assaulting or bullying their peers. Similarly, close to 1/3 of households gave the perception that it was acceptable to physically punish children for arguing with their teacher, leaving the classroom or the school without permission, or for disrupting the class. However, households' acceptance of corporal punishment at home was lower. 3 in 10 households admitted it was acceptable to give corporal punishment at home to children who argued or talked back to a parent or caregiver. Close to 1/4 of the households also confessed that it was acceptable to punish a child using physical force for telling a lie or fighting with siblings. South Africa has adopted legislations that fully prohibit the use of corporal punishment both at school and at home. However, the lack of knowledge of these laws among citizens is a clear sign that violent discipline remains practiced. Conversely, in 2019 and 2020, over 90% of households with children aged 5 to 17 indicated they were aware that corporal punishment was illegal in South Africa. The largest percentage of households which were not aware that corporal punishment was illegal were found in Mpumalanga and Northern Cape. For more information, download the full report at www.statssa.gov.za.